Hey everybody, this is Ibarionex and Olaf Sztaba, one of my good friends, and we're doing something special this year. We're conducting what I'll loosely call a workshop because I think it's something else. And some of you know me, and some of you may know Olaf, and vice versa. But we're both really passionate photographers, and I guess we'll kind of accept the nom de plume of street photographer for lack of a better term to describe us. But the people who follow us probably know there's so much more to us. And I had interviewed Olaf last year, and we had a chance to meet in Paris. And it was that moment in Paris that we had a chance to meet was really wonderful, even though it was only like for one day. Um, uh, for me, it felt like we had known each other personally and photographically for years. And I'm speaking for myself, but I think I can speak for you as well, Olaf, right?
No, exactly, exactly. First of all, thank you for having me today, Barionex, and I could not agree more that the moment we met in Paris and started to talk photography and shooting, it was as if we knew each other for forever. It was remarkable.
Yeah, I think what I liked most about it was that as soon as we went out to go out and make photographs, it was a rare experience where neither of us had to explain ourselves. It was it was just like we completely got where the other one was coming from, but we were also learning about our differences. And as we were exploring, pointing things out to each other, making photographs, it was really a really exciting time. And my only regret was that, it wasn't longer. And so we've been talking about doing something together. And so we finally found a little time in both of our busy schedules to do something in Vancouver, which is going to be like this 2.5 day workshop in Olaf's backyard. And I thought we'd just sort of start off by briefly talking about why we want to do this. And I'll start off. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I just want to build on that experience that I had with you in Paris. I think that it was a rare opportunity because even when I'm teaching or with other photographers who I respect and admire, um, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a vibe with someone else to sort of this degree. And I felt like it was just ripe for making new discoveries, for being challenged, and for really finding new and different ways of seeing and exploring. Building on, the experience I already had, I felt like I had, it wasn't so much I had so much to learn from you. It was more about I wanted the opportunity to to be taught a different perspective, a fresh perspective. And I think that this is the reason why I want to, you know, open this up to people because I think as much as I can benefit from this time with you, um, I think it will be amazing for anyone who chooses to join us. But what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, you're absolutely right. And you remember when we were shooting together and I was running a workshop in Paris, and you were very gracious to visit us for about 30, 40 minutes. Your schedule was very tight. And I well remember when we were talking together about photography and we engaged students into the conversation. It was as if the entire room like went on fire.
Yeah.
And that was the moment when I thought, wow, uh, if we could get together with the group of passionate people, not necessarily experienced photographers, but people that want to learn, want to go deeper into the craft of seeing, uh, I think we both have something to give, maybe to even challenge our own thoughts with each other and with our students. Because as probably you experience the same, sometimes we learn so much from them, and that fact enrich the entire experience. So, in other words, I think that that being two of us and our students together, it's going to be one in a lifetime experience, and I'm really looking forward to it because there will be so many dimensions of learning, of challenging, of thinking about how we see the world around us. That I'm pretty sure it will benefit all of us in some sense.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really interesting time, not just in terms of picture taking, but the dialogue we have about it. And
Yes.
unlike a lot of workshops, where we're sort of teaching and it's sort of like in one direction primarily with us sharing what we know, I think the fact that we're basically going to be riffing with each other like two jazz musicians, I think it's going to open it up to a really interesting dialogue, not just between you and me, but between everyone else that's in attendance. And I think that it's a unique opportunity, and I think it makes it really ripe to have a breakthrough. Because I felt that if I had spent like 2 days with you, that I would have had an experience unlike anything I've had before, and that's part of the reason I'm excited about it, and one of the reasons I'm excited about sharing it with people, because I know in my gut that this is going to be, like you said, a very it's going to be unlike anything I've ever done before. Not just because
The
I'm,
same.
yeah. So we're going to be doing this in Vancouver, which is your backyard. So in terms of just sort of logistics, what do you think that that city is going to offer us in terms of what we're kind of talking about here?
Well, Vancouver is a really great city for street photography and creative photography as such, because it has a very similar vibe to San Francisco. It's very open city. People are friendly. Uh, I never experience a problem with, even if I want to interact with people on the street, it's not a problem at all. People get used to photographing, to being photographed, and they, I think, value art and photography in general. And also, rules around photography are very uh, favorable. Like, because we both know Ibarionex, you teach all around the world, and I do that. Some countries, for example, like Germany, even though I love shooting there, we have some limitations what we can do. So in that sense, Vancouver is just a fantastic city. We have lots of uh, beautiful, tall glass sort of buildings, which even in the middle of the day provides stunning light. So light that we can take, we can experiment with, and buff our subjects with it in such a way that to create beautiful imagery. And I think it's very important. Uh, I think location is important when you shoot. I know that some people may say, "Oh, I can shoot anywhere." It's true, but if you have this extra layers of light, it gives you limitless possibilities. So in that sense, Vancouver is really great. Well, other than that, is a beautiful city located by the ocean, and we have mountains. We have basically everything. So if you come for the workshop and you decided, if somebody decide to stay a few days, it's a fantastic place to visit.
Yeah, and one of the things I like about it is because that's home for you, but this will be my first time there. And it's really going to be fascinating for both of us, even though we have a similar visual approach and aesthetic in terms of light and shadow and all those things. I think it'll be really interesting for everyone to see how we sort of both approach a city that's very familiar to you, but very unfamiliar to me. Because I think it's one of the challenges that any photographer has when they're traveling or even shooting in their own backyard is like it each has its own set of challenges, and how do
Yes,
you sort of
yes.
surmount them? So I think it'll be a really fascinating exploration of that idea, not just how to use light and shadow. I think a lot of people sort of teach that, even though I think our approach is a particularly special one. But I think that there's something to be said by learning how to see, and I think that that really is at the heart of why I like so much of the content that you share. and why it's so important to me. Because for me, it's more about seeing, discovering a personal way of seeing, than it is about using the camera.
That's correct. That's correct. That's something that we both have been studying and writing about for a very long time. But sometimes I still think that it doesn't come across enough,
Hmm.
uh, because and it's I think it's our fault as well because we sometimes, of course, get wrapped up and excited about gear, about other things, shadow, light. But this starting point of crafting great image is seeing. And there's the part, and I'm really looking forward to the discussion between us and our students in Vancouver. There is the part that we can teach and navigate, point people certain directions. But I think for me, the biggest success of such an event would be if we help people to find their own seeing
Yeah.
that they take from this weekend, and they say, okay, I think I'm getting somewhere. I'm discovering my way of interacting, observing, and seeing the world, and molding this whole idea into a strong, powerful image. And I think in order to do that, at least from my experience, and when we met in Paris, we both came to the same conclusion that we don't do it enough,
Yeah.
discussing and kind of working on this process of self-discovery. Uh, so I think this is going to be great. And let me add one more thing. Uh, I well remember in Paris, Ibarionex, you shot such a blockbuster image, which I was lucky enough to register on video.
Hmm.
Uh, and so I hope this time I can shoot one good image. It's a payback time.
Yeah, yeah, okay, all right. It's on then. It's on then. So who is this for in terms of experience level? Is it novice, advanced? Where do you kind of think is sort of for people who are considering this? What do you think is sort of the ideal candidate?
This is a fantastic question, and uh, I know that I risk with this answer. But when I run workshops, what I noticed when I started running workshops many, many years ago, I always try to think, okay, is it for somebody that's starting photography? Is it somebody like medium level or advanced? And over the years, because the nature of the way I teach, and when I met you, it looks like you are a very similar way of teaching, even though your ideas may be different. But I started of having in my workshops people that have been doing photography for 30 years. And they said, Olaf, listen, I have been doing this. I lost passion. I want to rediscover myself.
Yeah.
I want to rediscover and find a new way of seeing the world. So I even had some people that teach photography in school in my workshops. And it's obviously very flattering, but the point I try to make that this is not necessary about uh, if you are experienced photographer and let's say you work in certain genre, or you are somebody that they're just starting, we are going to have the program and I think discussion so fascinating and on the level of seeing and going deep that I think both levels will benefit from it.
Yeah.
Because I think what we have to say, what probably we are not going to do much, we are not going to sit for 2 days and teach people how to work in Photoshop. So,
No.
so, so I think we should make it straight. So answering your question, I think based on my experience and what we did in Paris, I think on any level you would enjoy this workshop. And because there are two of us and the ratio is going to be really amazing teacher to student, if somebody find any moment that, oh, maybe I don't know how this setting works, I think this is going to be uh, thanks to this amazing ratio, two of us
Yeah.
in one workshop, not a problem at all.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we'll be able to not spread ourselves too thin, and we'll be able to give a level of attention that normally isn't available when you have, these workshops, unless it's really, really small, like only three people or something. But just to riff on something you said though, is for me, um, I would like to think of it as an opportunity to kind of rediscover what you love about photography. Because I think whether you've been shooting for 3 years, for 10 or 30, it's easy to get lost in that, and in all the noise, you you lose that spark that made it so much fun and enjoyable and pleasurable. And now you're burdened by all these thoughts about, am I good? Do I have any talent? Why can't I do this consistently? And I think that what we're going to be doing there is going to allow people to rediscover not only what that is, but how to get it back after our time together is over. So if that appeals to anyone, then I would love for you guys to join us, because I'm really excited
Oh,
to
me
to
too,
go there.
Ibarionex.
I'm really looking forward to it. But if people want to find out more and to sign up, where can they go?
So the website is called visualpoetexperience.com. Visualpoetexperience.com. And once you go there, the first you will see the workshop with Ibarionex. So there is more information there. Also, there's a link how to sign up. And maybe if I can add a few words about the schedule,
Yeah,
Ibarionex,
please do.
that we briefly talk about. So on Friday at 4 p.m., we are going to get together in the classroom, and Ibarionex and I are going to have this know each other session, uh, have some talk about some personal aspects of photography. We will start sharing our approaches to photography and prepare for the next day of shooting, because I think it's important that we know for the next day what to do with this camera, how to start the seeing process, because it's a very long process to see. But maybe you can agree with me, Ibarionex, that one of the most common questions I get is, okay, Olaf, so I have a camera and I read few books, but I'm standing in the middle of New York, San Francisco, or London, and what do I do next? There is so much going on around me. Where do I point my camera? So on Friday, we will try to give you idea where to start. So on Saturday morning, when we have this beautiful day, which is by the way guaranteed, uh, no money back though. Anyway, so it's important that you know what are these different ways you can start, and we will go from there. So we will be shooting in the morning on Saturday, in the middle of the day around 1 p.m. And once you register, we'll send you exactly the schedule, places, and more details. But around 1 p.m. we'll go back to the classroom. We will see how it goes. And for the rest of the day, we'll be shooting again. And on Sunday, it's roughly the same schedule. The hours may be shifted slightly, but we will finish the day by looking at our imagery, including mine and Ibarionex. We will be discussing them. We'll be learning from them. And what I think would be a really cool thing to do, Ibarionex, um, I would love to have enough time so both of us sit for 5, 10 minutes with each student individually. And maybe you can share some ideas tailored to this particular person, how to go forward, because the workshop itself is a starting point.
Yeah.
This is not end deal. So people that will participate, they need to take uh, all the ideas, all discussions and knowledge from the workshop, and they have to continue this adventure whenever they go back to. So I think this one-to-one interaction at the end that I always try to do, uh, I enjoy it and my students enjoy it. And right now, Ibarionex, if you as well, uh, you know, uh, share some thoughts about with each student, I think that would be
Oh
fantastic.
yeah, I mean the critiques are always the best part of the time together, because there is what you get to learn what you've actually been doing, both subconsciously and consciously, and how make more of what you do as a photographer more purposeful, rather than just relying on luck and accident and the camera to do it for you. So I think the ample shooting time plus the group critiques and the one-on-one feedback, I mean, it's going to be an intense 2.5 days. Let me just say that, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yes, definitely. And let me add, because some people may ask about gear, because obviously we are all obsessed about it. So this is not a brand related workshop.
Mm-mm.
This is like whatever you love to shoot with, from iPhone to medium format and everything in between. Please bring it on. This workshop is about should provide you with tools and ideas regardless of the gear you use.
Absolutely, yeah. That's not going to matter. But yeah, check it out, guys. I really am looking forward to spending time there with Olaf. I'm going up there anyway, just because I'm just ripe for my time with him and just to learn. But if you some of you are thinking about it and want to join us, believe me, it's going to be worth your money and your time. It's going to be an unforgettable time. So check out the site and sign up, because there are going to be limited spots available for this thing. It's going to be coming up in August. The dates are
23rd, 25th.
yeah.
If you see, it only shows how busy we are in
I
Bionex.
know. Yeah, I
So,
think
okay,
it's that
20,
weekend. So, but you'll see it when you hit the link on there.
23rd, 25th. Yes,
Hmm.
I can confirm. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thanks a lot for you guys for joining us, and Olaf, thank you, and
Thank you, Bionex.
hope to see some of you guys in Vancouver. Hasta.